Hi, today's lesson is a lesson on how to memorize a script. This is a request from one of my Patreon members, Dave Egan, and so I want to create this for you. So thank you again for all of my Patreon members at patreon.com/Paul Draper. You make it possible for me to continue to make these lessons, live videos, and performances right on here. So a lesson on how to learn and memorize a script. For me, the journey starts with deciding what my learning style is. So if your learning style is oral, you learn best through listening to someone. The two best strategies, because I'm an oral learner, the two best strategies that I've found for me personally are either one, to have an individual, a friend, somebody I care about, sit with me and read the lines out loud in a very flat tone. I ask them to read it in a flat tone because otherwise I remember their vocal choices and their tones when they're presenting it, and then I mimic those like a line reading. So instead, I ask them to read it line by line as a flat tone, and then I repeat it. I mirror the line back. Then they say the next, I repeat it. They say the next, I repeat it. Then I literally hear their voice in my head as a way to memorize that text. This helped me a lot in school when I had teachers that were lecturers and would give long lectures because I could memorize what it is they were saying. If you don't have the benefit of a friend who can give you that reciprocal relationship, giving you the script back and forth, another way for an oral learner to learn their script is to record the script yourself. And this is something I did a lot when I was in shows on the road. I would record myself reading the lines, and I would read them again as flat as possible. No emotion, so I could add that later. And I would just read it onto a recording device, a tape, or a CD, or on your electronic phones or whatever device you have to record. And then I would listen to that in the car and in my spare time and when I was showering, and I would hear my own voice reading the script, and I would remember hearing my voice reading it, and because I'm an oral learner, I could hear that and recall it from there. If you are a visual learner and you want to learn your scripts, I have heard a lot of people that have had great success with highlighting each line in a different color. So you buy a set of highlighters as a visual learner, and you highlight each individual line with a different color. And then you memorize while looking at those lines. You read them, look away, think of the color, recall the line, think of the color that comes next, and put each line in a color that you will remember, a color that represents to you what that line says or means. And then you can remember the series of colors and the order of colors or the lengths of those lines. Visual learners sometimes have the strength to be able to remember the length of a line, the color of the line, the shape of the line, and that becomes a recall tool for them. Also, both visual learners and kinesthetic learners have benefits with rewriting the lines. So you have your script on one side and a pad of paper on the other, and you physically write all of your lines down one by one. And that implants it both kinesthetically, feeling it in your hands and your body, and seeing it visually on the page as you're writing it down. That doesn't help oral learners as well as it helps those that are visual and kinesthetic. If you're a fully kinesthetic learner, you're primarily a dancer, a mover, you feel things in your body. One of the greatest ways to memorize your lines is to physicalize them, to create a little dance of each line. If your line is from the Fantastics, the narrator, their moon was cardboard fragile, it was very apt to fray. You might want to say, their moon was cardboard, fragile, it was very apt to fray. Create a little dance. Now, you don't have to do all those motions when you're on stage actually performing it, but if you had that sort of movement to memorize it, it might turn out on stage to go, their moon was cardboard, fragile, it was very apt to fray. And that becomes a smaller, more delicate way of doing those motions and movements that initially put the words into your head. And if you need to, that dance puts you back into those lines to remember it. So find out what kind of learner you are. Try different strategies. See if hearing it helps. See if seeing it helps. See if writing it helps. See if dancing it helps. But all of those are great ways to help memorize lines. It's also wonderful, especially in this time where we have each other over FaceTime and such, to be able to send someone the script and have someone you can call line to. So you do it without the script and you go through it. And if you get a pause and you can't find it, you shut your eyes, you try and pull it up from the visualization, you try and pull it up from the physicalization, you try and hear it in your mind. If not, you call for a line so the other person can give you that's following along in the script can give you the line of where it is that you've missed, and you can pull back together from where you left off. So those are three strategies that I use, the three primary strategies that I use to memorize things. If I have to memorize something that's a list, that can be much harder to memorize just a straight up list. I can often pull upon PEG memory systems, and I'll be talking about those later in other pieces on how to have a superior memory. But I'll use a PEG memory system and tie in each one of those lines or items on a list to that PEG: one gun, two shoe, three tree, four door, and so on. You can search right now. There's a video online of me called from a TV show that was on ABC called The List. And on The List, I talk about the PEG memory system. And you can look that up now if you'd like to see more. So again, thank you to Dave and all the members of my Patreon for making this possible. You can see this content first at patreon.com/Paul Draper. Thanks so much for watching, and I look forward to sharing more lessons on very soon. Bye, everybody. Have a great rest of the day.